Hi everyone, I'm Daryl from Denied by the Crossbar podcast, and I'm joined by Lee, FFC Lee. Lee, how you doing, my friend? You all right?
I'm very good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Good, thank you. So, first game week 1 of Premier League season.
We're
What did
back.
you think? What did you think? We've been waiting for it to come back.
I'll be honest, I sat down and watched a lot of football this weekend and I didn't see a lot of goals. I managed to miss all the goals. I reckon I saw, bar the Man City game, I probably saw 4 goals. I picked all the wrong ones, sadly.
Yeah, especially the Palace Chelsea one, but we'll come to that anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. Friday, we had, I know it seems quite far back now, to be honest with you, but Friday we had the Liverpool Bournemouth game. Did you manage to catch that
Kicking
game?
us off. I did manage to watch that, so I lied. I did see a few goals. I forgot about the Friday game. Feels like a different week.
What did you think?
I mean, to open the Premier League, what a way to start. Getting 6 goals and some very nice ones as well. My biggest takeaway is that scoreline probably doesn't actually reflect the game. It's very Liverpool-sided, that scoreline, when I think Bournemouth, it wouldn't be an undeserved result if they snatched a draw there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Even as a Liverpool fan, the scoreline flatters us. It wasn't a 4-2 game. It was a really, really tight game. We started off really well. Etikite scored in his debut. I thought we went 2 up, and I thought we can run away with it, you know. But during the game, Bournemouth were always in the game, always looked dangerous. And we always looked like there was gaps there. There was always gaps appearing, even between Van Dijk or even Kirkes. I thought Kirkes had a bit of a poor game. I found when it's like they targeted him, to be honest with you. With headers, he lost quite a few headers, dived in quite a few times as well. Looked a bit shaky, to be honest. Could be nerves. Obviously, he's playing against his former team. But he looked really shaky, and that put us on the back foot, to be honest. But Semenya got his goals.
He looked so good. It was such a good day for him. And it's just a shame when you look at everything else that happened in the match. If the whole Bournemouth team were with that same mentality, I think they would have finished it off and probably got 3 points. He outshone the whole team. And 2 great finishes from him as well.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm glad he scored those goals. Obviously, something tarnished the game. It was unfortunate that someone who's trying to ruin it for all of us, basically, football, basically said a racist comment to him. He asked him to repeat it. It was embarrassing. As a Liverpool fan, I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. I'll be honest. It's
such a shame that it's happened first game of the Premier League season.
In front of all the cameras.
It's in front of the cameras. It doesn't matter how it's done, what's happened. It's happened. It's horrible that it's happened. And Semenyo's done the best thing he can. He's gone straight away and said what's happened. They've drawn attention to it on the cameras, which I think is good. We've seen it in the media the days following. By the sounds of it, the guy's been arrested. Good. Make a scene of it. And Semenyo's then gone and got 2 goals just to say, have that, mate. Exactly. Yeah. It's the most ridiculous thing that we still have to struggle with in this sport. And I think that's the best way for him to have reacted in that situation. Going and then getting them 2 goals, yeah.
Yeah, I respect him for that. I rate him for that, to come out and say it and literally make it known to the referee. And Liverpool Football Club, the best thing they can do is give it the heart, make a statement of this guy. I don't care. I know as a disabled fan, I'm sorry. You have to make a statement in the harshest way possible. Ban him from life. The FA should ban him from all football stadiums, because sometimes they ban him from your stadium. No, he should be banned from football stadiums across the UK or wherever for life. Personally, that's wrong. Totally, yeah. It was disgusting. I hate things like that. Do you know what I mean? That's uncalled for. But we've got black players in our team. That's why I don't grasp where this comes from. I don't understand it.
There's no logic to it, and I think the shame of this whole thing is I haven't seen his name anywhere, and I think he should be named.
He should be named and shamed. I totally agree.
It doesn't matter in any situation, if it means he loses his job, that's so what? This is the repercussions when this happens. And like you say, he should be banned forever from any stadium of any sorts. He doesn't deserve it. And why isn't his name put out there? He's an adult. If he can say them things, he's taking responsibility for the words that come out of his mouth. And if he decides to say them things, he should be named and shamed. Yeah.
Totally agree with you, Lee. Like I said, Semenyo got his goals. Listen, okay, the first goal, it was a good break. They scored. The second goal, mate, he literally ran from the edge of his box. A mistake by Dominic Szoboszlai, and he just kept on going. They all backed off. And credit to him, he's a great finish. He deserved it.
While watching it, I watched it with my brother and a few friends, and one of my friends kept going, pass it, and they cut to Iraola, who's pointing, and Semenyo just carries on in a straight line, hits it, and I think Iraola straight away was like, yeah, all right, fair enough. Like, what can you do? You shout pass it all you want, but when he does that, you can never, you can't have a go at the guy.
I'll be honest, when he equalised, my heart dropped, and I thought, they've dropped it. We've actually dropped a 2-0 lead, and it's gonna run away from us. Manager makes changes, Slot makes changes. I wasn't happy with his changes he made against Crystal Palace, and he took off Ekitike. He did it again. He brought on Chiesa. With Chiesa, you don't know what you're getting. If I'm honest with you, he's unknown. You know what he's going to give his best. He's going to try, but you don't know what he's actually going to get. He brought on Endo to play right back, which I thought was really, really strange.
Yeah,
he brought on Endo to play right back, which was really strange. And then he brought on Joe Gomez. I don't think that worked because he played him at right back. He realized it's not working. He ended up bringing on Joe Gomez for right back and moving Endo to centre midfield. But it was a bit weird. But,
it was a bit strange, but I think it does say a lot about the depth that you've currently got in the squad in a positive way for you guys. And it just shows the money that's being spent smart because you've got so many options on that bench for you to make an impact, which obviously we then saw.
Chiesa with the goal. If I'm honest, there couldn't be a better guy to score that goal. Do you know what I mean? You do love him. He comes on, he gives 110% every single time. Even if it's for 5 minutes, he tries his heart out for 10 minutes, Bit of a scuffed shot, but you put it in the corner. And Mo Salah finishing it off with his customary goal. That's his 10th goal on opening day in 9 seasons, is it? That's a record. 10 opening day goals scored in every season he's been with Liverpool Premier League, which is unreal, But just before we jump off this subject, listen, this was a tribute to Diego Jota. The Bournemouth fans were impeccable. It was an amazing tribute. Everyone saying goodbye, and it was a beautiful thing. Shame that had to be marred by those comments made,
Yeah. No, I think it was a good result to open the Premier League.
Yeah.
Goals from everywhere. And I just think it's the difference between the big teams and the lower teams, being Bournemouth, slightly smaller stature, haven't got the depth to stick with it. 76th minute, they equalise, and by the 88th, you're up. And then 94th minute, Salah finishes it off. And they just didn't have the same reply to your changes, and it just goes to show the size difference in some of these clubs, and we saw that throughout the week. I think
we did. If I'm honest, it was really disappointing. Dropping the goals, we looked really open. We missed Gravenberch a lot, but I think a lot of Liverpool fans are thinking Gravenberch comes back and it solves the problem. That's asking a lot from Gravenberch. The team structure with Wirtz in the team has changed. The press is different. We've got more attacking players on the pitch. So everyone's saying, Gravenberch will be back next game. He's not going to solve all those problems. He's going to help. He's not going to solve all those problems. One thing I did like about it from the team, they showed character, they showed determination, and that never say die attitude to come back. Because sometimes you're losing 2-0. You know what it's likely. The team drops 2-0. They lose momentum, momentum with the other team, and then all of a sudden your heads have dropped and you can end up losing the game. Sometimes.
I think Bournemouth last year they looked fantastic, and I think this year they've got nothing to worry about. 4-2 against Liverpool isn't a result they need to be worried about. It's one of those ones that at the start of the season you tick off as a loss, and if you get a point or a win, that's a bonus to your season.
they showed. Listen, they gave a good account of themselves. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they've got anything to be worried about.
Not at all. No, they look very good.
All right, let's look at Saturday games. Let's start with Aston Villa versus Newcastle with no Isak.
It was the early kickoff. And between these two teams in the past years, there's been a lot of goals, a lot of high scoring games in the last couple of years. A couple of 3-0s, 4s scored, and I went into this expecting some quite good football to be played, and I expected some goals because of the pass between these two. And for 45 minutes of it, it was just a Newcastle masterclass. Apart from their finishing.
Sorry, bro.
No, I was just gonna, and it's just, you know, the story that's in the news all the time. Yeah, they don't have a striker, do they?
Anthony Gordon played up front. He led the line well, I heard. I didn't see the full game, to be honest with you, but probably like that cutting edge as a proper number 9, leading the line, runs in behind or run down the channels, I suppose.
Yeah, it was Harvey Barnes, Elanga, and then Gordon up front. It was the only option they really had, which is understandable in their situation. They've got rid of Wilson, someone who's Premier League proven, and they missed him. They've got rid of him. The issues with Isaac have come about. They haven't got a number 9 at all. And so, yeah, Gordon stepped in. He did well, but in these situations, you can tell there's a difference between an Anthony Gordon and a natural goal scorer and finisher, and that's what they were missing.
How did Elanga play on his debut, Premier League debut for Newcastle?
He looked good. He looked like Elanga, using that pace to just beat his man, you know. But again, they struggled. They looked like they were trying to whip the ball in. But
to who?
Exactly. Joe Linton made a couple of runs into the box, being the bigger guy. But again, you can't rely on your midfield to be in the box for when you're whipping all them crosses in. You need your number 9 to be there. And that's not what they had in the game. And this is Eddie Howe, you know, all over. He's proven now that it's an issue. Like, everyone knows it. He now has seen that firsthand. Something's going to have to happen in the next 2 weeks now.
Well, they're saying Visser's close, isn't he?
But I don't know if this is the answer to Newcastle's question at the moment. It helps slightly, but you can't rely on Visser for the next season.
They're in the Champions League as well.
Exactly. It's a lot of football for one man to carry all that weight on his shoulders.
Yeah, I agree. What was Aston Villa like? Ollie Watkins started up front, didn't he?
So Ollie Watkins started up front, but I don't know. I don't often sit and watch a full game of Villa, but John McGinn and Morgan Rogers played as the sort of wider attacking midfielders. Very narrow.
Really narrow. Yeah.
Very narrow. And I think that was quite obvious in their attacks going forward. Their fullbacks maybe don't have the cutting edge as attacking fullbacks. And so, yeah, they looked not lost. I don't want to say lost. They obviously are a good squad, and this is the squad they had last season. They were missing something, and I'm not too sure exactly whether that was maybe John McGinn needed to be inside with someone like Leon Bailey, who's, again...
But he's on the way out, though, isn't he? He's meant to be leaving,
exactly,
isn't he?
This is it. So it was two clubs with quite... Yeah, two clubs playing each other that are missing a key feature of their club. Bizot in goal, who they've just brought over from Belgium, 33 years old, because Martinez is serving a 3-match ban from last season.
Against Man United, he got sent off, didn't he?
Against Manchester United. So a new keeper who had a very, very good debut in the Premier League for someone that's 33 years old now. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, starting off strong. You're playing against Newcastle in your first game. And then, in the second half, Enrique Konza, I don't know what he was doing. It was a red card every single day of the week. He's pulled Anthony Gordon down. Gordon's got the bounce correct. The ball's bounced just before they've both got to the ball. And then Konza's found himself on the wrong side of the ball.
How far back was this from the halfway line? Sorry.
Yards. Like, it was bad. Honestly, Darryl, it's a bad one because the game's not over. We've seen Newcastle go 1-on-1 with this new goalkeeper. Elanga in the first 4 minutes, I think it was 1-on-1. Bizot was doing well in goal. Konza clearly hasn't had the trust in his keeper and just thought, take the man down, don't let him run. You don't know what's going to happen in that distance of the pitch. We've seen players fall over. We've seen other players be able to catch up. Exactly. And a one-on-one isn't a goal. There was a keeper in the net. Trust your keeper. Don't take a red card on the 66th minute.
And put the pressure on your team. It's not worth it.
And then all he's done is he's put pressure on his own team, and we've seen a very quiet end of the game.
I think Newcastle, Isak or not, if he stays or not, I think they're going to struggle. I've put them like 7th. What are you thinking about them in the position? Where do you think?
They're in the Champions League as well, which I think is quite a big...
For someone who hasn't got a big squad, Newcastle.
Exactly. It's quite a decision that they're going to have to make. It's probably one or the other. And I think the Champions League, as long as they can qualify for European football next year, they'll be happy. So, 6th, I think, depending on who they bring in. There's obviously a signing.
What about Villa? I really like Villa. I love Morgan Rodgers. I actually really rate Emery as a manager, and I think he can take him far. But obviously, they're hamstrung by the PSR problem. So they just sold down Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's been confirmed. So what do you think about them? I think they finished above Newcastle, to be honest. I put them 6th, I think, in my predictions.
I would say that, but after watching the 66 minutes with them having 11 men, they looked like a different Aston Villa. They didn't have that sharpness about them. It's the first game. It's hard to judge. They maybe they're not all match fit. But when Konza took his red card and walked off the pitch, it took quite a while for Villa to do any substitutions. And in the whole match, they only did one. And it was John McGinn for Mallon. They didn't. Pau Torres is on the bench. They didn't bring Pau Torres on. They didn't make any changes. So they just dropped Kamara, I believe, into that defensive role. And they just played a back four with the midfielder that they had on the pitch. They didn't bring on Pau Torres, who was on the bench. If he's on the bench, he's got to be fit, right?
I think so. I really like him. I think he's a top defender, Pau Torres. I think he's their best defender.
I thought that was very weird to go down to 10 men. Even before the 66th minute, they looked a little bit lost. They needed something. Mallon came on to inject a bit of pace where John McGinn was missing that. I don't know. It just seemed weird to me. It just seemed like maybe, again, like I said, they're just missing something. But maybe it's just sharpness. Maybe they just needed a little bit more time.
Yeah. They've got I'm surprised they've done your Mallon for the wings. Give him a bit of width.
Yeah, so he came on for McGinn,
but to give him a bit of width on the other side, left or right, you know.
It took so long to bring him on. It just seemed, it just seemed a bit strange. Emi Buendia was on the bench. That's a wide playmate.
I'm surprised he's there. I think he's been loaned out for the last season and a half, hasn't he?
He's been gone, but he was on the bench. They've also got Samuel Illing Jr. Went over to Juventus, I think, on loan.
He came from Juventus from when he was young. Came over from Juventus. They signed him, didn't they? And then he went out last season to a championship club.
So again, he's a wide player. They look like they were lacking width. It's strange. They're on the bench, but they didn't bring them on.
Maybe Emery just thought keeping it compact in the centre of the field, keeping it tight there. That's where Newcastle's strengths are. They've got Tanyali, Guimaraes, and Jolinton. So that's where Newcastle's strength is. So maybe he thought if I keep it narrow, I've got more chance of winning the game, you know? So maybe that's what
once you go down to 10 men, if you can keep a draw, then you're happy, aren't you?
You'd have to take a draw against Newcastle, I would. You know?
Yeah.
Decent result though for both of them. Brighton, Fulham, Lee, your team. Talk to me.
Yes. Well, going into the game,
1-1.
Always been an interesting match between Brighton and Fulham. A while ago, I remember going to the game and being bitterly disappointed when Mitrovic handballed it in our own box to give a penalty away at the end of the game. That was great fun. So it's always been a sore one for me. Fulham have gone into this with no new signings, as Marco Silva said in his press conference, which I think was a bit of a diss to the Lecomte signing we made. So the poor guy that sat on our subs bench got completely disregarded by Silva, our new goalkeeper. Yeah. But yes, Silva said, we've bought no one. There's no changes. We don't have any left backs. We've got 2 injuries to our 2 options at left back. And so we started Calvin Bassey, who's been player of the season last season for us at left centre back. We pushed him out of position where he hasn't got the pace to inject into the game as much. And we saw it early on and he got an early yellow card. And then the pressure was on him all game.
Sounds like a very unhappy manager, to be honest, with transfers, to be honest. He sounds like he's throwing it out there, you know?
He's made his point loud and clear now for a few press conferences. And I think we can all see it as fans. And I mean, a lot of people just in general can see we haven't actually bought a player in. Yeah, a second goalkeeper is a signing, but it's not anything we care for. Well, hopefully we don't see him in the nicest way possible to him. I don't want to have to see him play apart from cup games because we want Leno to be fit.
But surely part of the incentive for him to stay, obviously he's been linked with Al Hilal, all the big Saudi clubs. Surely the incentive for him to stay would have been the 100 million they told him he's got to spend, and they're going to get transfers in. He must be bitterly disappointed right now.
It's a broken promise, isn't it? They've told the manager, stay, we'll spend money. Whether or not he was going to go, you don't know. Maybe Saudi isn't for him. He's got a family and whatnot. But he's rejected 2 big contracts to stay, and now he's, you know, the promise is broken. The trust isn't there anymore. He's going to have second thoughts whenever he gets told anything. We're currently in a bit of a battle trying to keep our striker, Rodrigo Muniz. So he was on the bench to start the game. Brighton started good. We did get a couple of opportunities. Josh King, our little youngster, played out of his skin all game. I mean, personally, I don't think we looked good enough. But it's all things that we've seen last season that haven't been improved upon. We don't have a lot of pace in our wide players. They're a lot more slower, creative. We're playing the ball to Raul Jimenez, who's 34 years old now. He comes in too deep. We don't have anyone up there. We didn't have a left back, and it was so obvious. It's a shame how the game went.
How long's Anthony Robinson out for? He had a surgery, didn't he?
He's had surgery in pre-season. Apparently, he's back in training, and we should be seeing him soon. So hopefully, next weekend he's on the bench at least as we play Manchester United. But we'll have to see. I think Brighton, they started a couple of new names. De Kuyper, their left back, and they played Whiffer as right back. So that was interesting to see. But it's not what I expected. I was under the impression that Whiffer was centre mid.
Whiffer was the centre midfielder for Klopp's Feyenoord team, and he was brought in as a central midfielder. So playing at right back, it's very strange. I've heard good things about that guy, the left back from Belgium. Top meant to be a really good left back. We were at one point, you know, big potential.
Well, we definitely attacked their right. So Iwobi, Bassi, and Josh King worked a lot in that position to attack them, and we got a couple of good chances, but it took a penalty for Brighton, which was a penalty. Sandberg took out one of their guys, and Matt O'Reilly stepped up to take a pen. A youth player from Fulham.
One of your old guys.
One of our old guys. Yeah, another one that we couldn't keep hold of. Had a career at Celtic, and then Brighton brought him in, and he put it in from the penalty spot, and we looked lost from there.
Really?
It went downhill, and we didn't have anything on the bench to really answer the questions. Tom Cairney came on. It's always a safe bet. Control the game a little bit more. We did look better with Tom Cairney controlling the ball, just taking a bit of pressure off of the team to play simple passes and open up play a bit more. Adama Traore came on, but that was very much run and see if we can do anything. But Rodrigo Muniz came on for Jimenez. I wasn't really expecting this to happen after the connection to his transfer away. And then on the 97th minute, we win a corner, and I looked to my brother. I said, we never score from corners. And he went, especially not this late. And as the ball's come in, it's gone down to Muniz, and he's taken one touch, whacked it into the goal. And his celebration, he's gone and taken a scarf off of a Fulham player. He's held it above his head.
So he wants to stay. I want to stay. Well,
I don't know now. Playing with our emotions.
Yeah. Well done.
I'll be honest,
It's a good
for a game of football, if I was a neutral watching it, that was probably the most boring game you would have watched all week. There wasn't a lot happening. Welbeck came on. He looked like Welbeck. One big point, James Milner, the man that ages like fine wine, has just played a game of football in another season. I think they said that was 26 senior seasons.
I read James Milner is the only player to have started a Premier League game this year that was born in the 80s. And I've said, what? Can you believe that?
I think he's been playing football longer than I've been alive. Like senior football.
Yes.
It's actually ridiculous.
I remember James Milner. I remember James Milner making his debut for Leeds at 17 years old. It was a record, Premier League record at the time. 17. I remember watching that game. Mad.
Yeah, crazy. So he came on. I think he came on. You know, he was injured last season for a lot of it. He's come on. He's made that record, and he's a versatile player, isn't he? Brighton love having him like a Swiss Army knife on the bench. So it was quite nice to see him come on and, you know, make a bit of history there. Very cool.
Okay, good result for you guys. What are you thinking about Brighton this year? Finish as in prediction for end of the season. What are you thinking?
If I was a Brighton fan, I wouldn't be impressed with what happened. I don't want to go too heavy into it. I don't know if I was watching a game with rose-tinted glasses because I'm a Fulham fan. I feel like they got away with quite a lot. I try my best with stuff to kind of look as a neutral at some of the decisions from the refs. But we had a penalty shout. There was a Calvin Bassey shove. It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't think it's a penalty. It was a bit heavy, but it was fine. But there was one where, and I can't think for the life of me who it was, went to kick the ball, and the Brighton player caught his foot and not the ball. Now, last year and the year before, that's a penalty every single day. I don't know why it wasn't given, but it's stuff like that where, for Brighton, they only scored a penalty. They didn't score an open play. I mean, ours was a set piece, but we also, I do think, deserved a pen in that game. So, yeah, for Brighton, they're missing, you know, that striker being João Pedro. I do think they're going to miss him. He scored a lot of goals, but Matoma equally did very well last season. He scored a lot and assisted a lot. He looked good, but we kept him quiet.
Which I think they're going to struggle. I think Brighton might finish about 13th, 14th. Not struggle, but lower mid-table, you know, about 13th, 14th for me. What are you thinking?
I think they'll take that as well. I think realistically, when you look at all the other teams that are looking at European football and have improved their squad quite drastically, exactly. I think perhaps this is a mid-table kind of season for Brighton. If they keep Baleba, then perhaps they sell him next year, and that's when a big change happens to the club, as we've seen them do in the past. My last little note, Daryl, was if Baleba's worth 100 million, then Josh King's worth at least 200, because I don't think Baleba's ever been played off the pitch like that before.
Now you've got your rose-tinted glasses on, my friend. But yeah, I've heard good things about
the full match.
Baleba.
Yeah.
And Josh King. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. No, you need to watch the full match. It was very nice to see for me. I don't watch Baleba all the time. I've seen a lot of his stuff. But yeah, it looked good from Josh King. Whether that's Josh King being very good or maybe Baleba didn't have a very good day, I'm not sure. But Josh King, he's one to watch.
I'll keep an eye out. But isn't Josh King a central midfielder? But where did he play? Did he play as a central midfielder, or did he play further forward?
So he's a bit of a central midfielder, but we have quite a top-heavy central midfield. They're big units in Sanderberg and Sasha Lukic. Josh King's a little bit daintier and I think a little bit finer on the ball, playing as a number 10 instead of Emil Smith-Rowe Saturday, sorry. And looked the part for a boy who's playing in the Premier League. He looked absolutely fine. And they were definitely targeting him with heavy tackles, and he took them on the chin and carried on going.
Personally, I think it's a massive season for Emma Smith-Rowe. I know he came in late last year. He's got to prove his credentials this year. He's coming from Arsenal. Didn't have the best time last year. It's a big season for him, bro.
Yeah, I think our issue now is Josh King, I think, performs better than Emil Smith-Rowe, who's still yet to play 90 minutes of football for Fulham, and we've had him for a season now. It says a lot about his fitness. It's not good.
It's worrying. Okay, can Fulham finish in the top 10 this year? They need a striker. What are you thinking?
We need a striker and we need a winger. Marco Silva said it forever. I think we also need a left back. We've proven that because we have one, and I don't think Bassey's good enough to cover that position if Robertson can't play. So we're looking at 3 big signings, and I don't think it's happening. So no, I don't think we finish in the top 10 this season, which is a big shame because I think we could have made a push for European football if the transfers got done early. Apparently we had 100 million to spend, but I don't think top 10. I think we'll be in and around it again like we were last season.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's move on to the next game. Sunderland, West Ham. Sunderland 3, West Ham United 0. That is worrying for some West Ham fans, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of Sunderland fans being very, very optimistic about this season, saying they're staying up, they'll be fine. And I was umming and ahhing it. But yeah, a 3-0 result is, in the Premier League, it doesn't matter who you play, it's always a good result. First game back, and West Ham just looked off it.
I know they looked off it, but listen, the Stadium of Light is it's a big stadium. It's an intimidating atmosphere. It's like Newcastle. It's that type of.
Yeah.
They can be rowdy, and it is not a place. Not be funny. You can see West Ham. They're not full of confidence. It's not a place that you want to be going in your first. This is their first time back in Premier League for what, 10 years now? I think maybe.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's massive for them. So
loud.
Anyone who's gone there, it would have been a tough opening game. It's West Ham with low confidence. It's not the place you want to go. First game of the season, you know.
No, I think Graham Potter really needs to set a philosophy at that club. They just didn't look with it for the whole game as well. I think Sunderland, as soon as they scored, Sunderland looked like they were winning that, and they just got progressively better throughout the game. It was a surprise result in my eyes. I didn't expect a 3-0 win.
I thought it would be a draw, to be honest. I thought Sunderland would come out, first game of the season, first time back in the Premier League, as Ipswich did last season against Liverpool in the first game. It gave them a tough game, you know. I thought that would be Sunderland. I thought West Ham, I thought he would have tried to implement his style and his style of play over the summer. What I saw from that team was they lack pace. The team has got no pace. In central midfield, they've got James Ward-Prowse playing with Rodriguez. I think Rodriguez, the best player. He's like 30. The team has got no pace. Max Kilman at the back, no pace. The only person that's got pace that I can see in that team is Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the only player that's got genuine pace in the team. The team's struggling. It's a big season for Potter. I've got a few West Ham mates that are West Ham fans, and they are worried. Before the season even started, they're worried. They're just worried. They're thinking that a couple of them said to me they're going to go down. That's what they said to me.
I think
literally before the summer.
I think that there could be a big result by the end of the season. I still think Sunderland will struggle this season, and if West Ham also struggle, then that 3-0 could be make or break. That could be the game that West Ham can look back on and see that whether it's goal difference or it's 3 points, that could be the difference between Sunderland and West Ham, and that could be relegation and staying up. I think that was a bigger game than West Ham maybe gave it credit to.
West Ham, I think, Paquette has been, obviously, his case has been cleared, so I think he might stay now because they were talking about him going. They've signed Callum Wilson, though, on a free. Could be interesting. If he stays fit, that could be a really good signing for them on a free transfer. Obviously, Antonio's gone, so he might be able to get them some goals. Jarrod Bowen's there.
Yeah, Wilson came on, but he didn't make an impact that game. But I'm sure he can, he can definitely do something. We've seen him perform so well in the Premier League when he's fit and playing.
Yeah, Sunderland. Listen, I think Granit Xhaka masterstroke. I think they've made him captain of the club as well. He's got Premier League experience. He was Arsenal's captain at one point. We know he's had his troubles, but listen, he did well at Arsenal. He went over to Leverkusen, won the title with Leverkusen. He's come back to the Premier League. He's come back to the Premier League with a point to prove. You have to remember that. He's come back to look, and he hasn't come back to he's come back to a team not being rude, are going to struggle. So you have to respect him for that. Come back to a struggling team. He knows it's going to be a relegation fight. We know that. He knows that. But for that, I remember you mentioned something about the African players earlier on.
Yeah, they've signed a big handful of AFCON representing players, and it's an AFCON season. So all of them guys, it's in the new year for possibly a month, maybe a month and a half, depending on how far, obviously, their clubs get. They're not going to be able to play since they'll be off playing in their international games. And it's going to be a big hole in Sunderland's team. So it's interesting to see how that pans out when it comes to the time.
Okay, predictions for West Ham, roughly? Rough prediction for their season, do you think?
I think they stay up by the skin of their teeth. It's hard. I think they either... It'll be close between them and the team above them if they go down. I think Brentford and West Ham have got a lot of worries. So, yeah, I want to see how the couple more game weeks go. But right now, I'm thinking they'll stay up by the skin of their teeth.
Sunderland.
I think they do stay up. I don't know. No, Sunderland go down.
Okay, Mum, I think Sunderland go down. Listen, I would love them to stay. I like the Tyne-and-Wear derby. I think Sunderland are a massive club. It's nice having them in the Premier League. But I think this is a bit too much of a push. Because remember, they didn't actually come up through the automatic. They came up through the playoffs.
They're far away from automatic as well.
This is what I mean. I think they were 15 to 20 points behind Sheffield United when they played them in the playoffs. So you have to think they weren't in the top 3 bracket where they're on that, that level anyway. They're on the bracket below. So I think they're going to struggle. But good luck to them. West Ham, I think when West Ham are relegation candidates, I think they're going to be in the bottom 4 or 5. They're going to struggle. And Potter's not getting his message across. It doesn't seem like he's getting his message across. They haven't got an identity yet. I thought by now they'd have that identity, a certain style of play, and they haven't got that. I don't know if it's the players. They've signed Walker Peters. Who else have they signed? They've signed Diouf, the left back. I don't know. I think they're going to struggle.
It's definitely not enough from last season. I don't think that's enough from what they looked like last season to improve to be like mid-table or anything. They haven't strengthened beyond anyone else. I think they're very much how they were. Yeah.
I agree. Okay, let's move on. Tottenham Hotspur against Burnley.
Yeah, what a game of football.
Tottenham against Burnley. Right. We knew Burnley were going to struggle. We knew Burnley last season, they kept a lot of clean sheets. They had a record for number of clean sheets last season in the Championship. They lost James Trafford. They brought in Kyle Walker. But they started with 5 at the back, which it just shows you that, if I'm honest, I don't think Scott Parker's a Premier League manager. And I say it sounds harsh to say that. I don't think he is.
He's not.
He's too pragmatic. It's not. I don't know, Well, you managed your club. He brought you up and took you back down, didn't he?
Yeah. He's done very well with Burnley in the Championship, playing defensive, solid football. He's relied on clean sheets and low goal-scoring games. And if that's honestly how you're coming into them, that means you're coming into the Prem with the idea that you're keeping clean sheets week in, week out. Be realistic. That doesn't happen with the big clubs. So why would Burnley suddenly be able to? Not only that, they've lost players. They've lost centre-back and they've lost a goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. It's just, they just didn't have it. Something about the goalkeeper, I don't know if you've seen this, but Dubravka has been the first goalkeeper to give a corner away from time wasting.
Oh, that means he's been caught the ball for holding on to the ball too long, right? Okay, that's a new rule, isn't it?
8-second rule. He held on to it. I think I saw a counter for about 9, and they gave a corner, which was an interesting one, something new in the Premier League. So that was fun to see. Honestly, there's not a lot to write home about there with Burnley. It wasn't Burnley's day. They didn't look good. I have it here. they had 14 shots but 4 on target. It's not
enough.
it's nothing great. And if you don't score, you're getting nowhere. They had 32% of the ball.
It's not good. It's playing
It's not good enough.
Football. It's not good enough to be.
They were never going there. Well, I don't think they were ever going to go there and win. But to lose 3-0, I think is quite saying on their season. However, Tottenham, they're fit.
We've got a rejuvenated Richarlison.
We've got a rejuvenated Tottenham Hotspur. Vicario's in goal. Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, and Spence. That's their back 4. They had Sarr, Gray, and Bergvall. That's their midfield. They had the brand new signing of Kudus, who West Ham probably would have wanted.
They need
Sunderland. They need Brendan Johnson, and yes, Richarlison. Son's gone, Kane's gone, but it doesn't matter because Richarlison's scoring goals in the Premier League again. Crazy.
I know.
And he's not just scoring goals, Daryl. He's not just scoring tap-ins.
He's scoring goals.
He's almost scoring an overhead kick. And then he's scoring an overhead kick.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah. What can you say? Listen, I like Thomas Frank, and I knew he'd do a good job at Tottenham. And I checked my predictions. I think I put Tottenham like 6th. I think they can challenge the top 6. I really do. I remember they've got Kulusevski out, they've got Maddison out. I think Eze's on the way. They've got I think today Christian Romero signed a new contract today because he was linked to Atletico Madrid. He signed a new contract today, so obviously they're believing in the project. Kudus is going to be. I rated Kudus before Ajax before he came to West Ham. So really good player. He needed a fresh environment himself. He looked like I know it's only a couple of years, but he looked like he just felt like I love the club at West Ham. I'm thinking Tottenham going place with Frank. I think he can push. So it doesn't surprise me that result. Obviously, it is only Burnley, but what goals!
Yeah,
Richarlison. Wow.
I mean, I said it with Liverpool and substitutions, and I feel weird that you can say it with Tottenham. João Paulinho, Matthias Tell, Dominic Solanke, Wilson Odobert, and Rodrigo Bentancur. That's who they brought on.
That's a solid bench. That's a really strong bench.
Very good bench. That's a lot of talent on that bench. A lot of them players would go in most teams in the Premier League. I'm ignoring the top teams, but yeah, they've got a lot of depth there. They're not going to struggle, I don't think. I think they're going to have a lot of fun this season, and Thomas Frank's going to give them a lot more energy and a lot more attacking prowess. So hopefully they stay solid at the back. They'll do well.
I've got a friend that's a Tottenham fan, and I text him, good result. And the first thing he texted me back was, they looked like they had a system. That's the first words he said. They looked like they had a system and a way of playing. That's the first. I said, and that's what it was. They look like they're just structured. He's just got them structurally. They know their position. They know what to do. It looks like he's set the team up well, as we know Thomas Frank does, as he did with Brentford. So, yeah, good luck to them. I'll tell you one more thing I'd like to add. Jed Spence, a couple of years ago, I wasn't too sure. He is so underrated. I watched the Super Cup, and he played in the left-hand side, and he kept Hakimi going backwards. You don't see that much in world football. I'm not saying he's a world beater. I'm just saying you don't see that in world football much,
I think last season he was just thrown around because of injuries and whatnot. And it's nice to see he's got a position in the team. He played well. They kept a clean sheet. Burnley or not, they kept a clean sheet. So they're doing it right. And it's going to be nice to see him develop throughout the season under Thomas Frank, who's obviously a talented manager.
Okay, my predictions are Burnley to go down, I'm afraid, and Tottenham to finish in the top 7. Yourself?
I think Burnley finished bottom, and I think they might break a record, not for points, but maybe games on the bounce losing. I think there's a record to be broken for them. I just don't think they've got it going for them. Especially, I don't know. They had shots, but they didn't have chances, sort of thing. And Tottenham, I think, top 6.
Top 6. It's a good call. It's a good call. Okay, let's move on. The next game we've got, that was the last one on Saturday, was Wolves versus Manchester City.
Yeah, the late kickoff. Good game of football to sit down and watch after watching a lot of boring games. The early kickoff being 0-0, and then I watched the Fulham-Brighton game 1-1. So it was nice to sit down and actually watch a team play good football. Yeah, exactly.
Erling Haaland's back, Daryl. Sorry?
Oh, sorry, no, I jumped in too soon. I said Erling Haaland's back, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But Wolves started really well. Obviously, they had a disallowed goal, but they looked all right. You know, without Larson looks quite good. He ended up last season really well. Larson he looked really good on Saturday evening. But Erling Haaland's back. He is back. Back in the game.
That was an Erling Haaland kind of game of football as well. He looked at his best. He played very well, and 34 minutes I think was a long time coming. Like you say, Wolves did play well, but they just didn't ever outplay City. The goal was offside. No. As soon as Haaland scored, the game changed. It was the 34th minute, and then by the 37th minute, Reinders had scored, and at that point, you're 2-0 down against a City that are having fun now, and it did look that way.
City look strong again.
Yeah,
they don't even look that strong. I think it's just even the same players from before look rejuvenated. Your Bernardo Silva's last year, he looked tired. I thought they was going to get rid of him. I saw him on Saturday. He looked rejuvenated. You know, Haaland, they all looked up for it again, you know?
I don't know if it was Pep proving a point. James Trafford in goal, John Stones at centre-back, Rico Lewis at right-back, Bernardo Silva played in the middle, Oscar Bob started on the wing. I don't know if it was him just saying, look, something was missing last year and it's back because he's played his team. Ain't Nori's obviously new, Reinders is new, but it's a lot of Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob, that's the youth. John Stones, he's been there for long enough now, but didn't really get a sniff last season. He's there. He looked good. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's Pep just making a point that people slagged him off a little bit last season. He's still here, and that was a comfortable result against a Wolves team that ended the season really well.
They did. They went a good little unbeaten run, I think. I was really impressed with Oscar Bob. He's so tricky. I knew he was a good player from a couple of years ago, but he had a really bad injury last year. Do you remember? He was out for a long period of time.
Yeah. He whenever I saw him, he just seemed quite inconsistent when I'd seen him in the past. I feel like he always looked good, but he wouldn't pull it off. Against Wolves, he looked fantastic for 90 minutes.
He did. He really did. Not much more you can say about it, really. City look back in the groove. Where do you think they're going to finish this year, City and Wolves?
So, if Erling Haaland stays fit, I think he goes on and does what he did in his first season. I don't know what it is. There was something about him in that game. The confidence was there. I think he could go for the Golden Boot this year. And I think Reinders, from one game of football, is hard to judge. But I honestly think, I'm not saying he's better or as good as, but I don't think they're going to miss Kevin De Bruyne if Reinders plays that well.
That's a massive call, bro. That's a massive call, Lee. I tell you, that is a big, big statement, mate.
I honestly think that it won't be a season where people say, oh, they lost De Bruyne and then they finished fourth. No, I think they're going to push.
You have to remember, though, De Bruyne wasn't at his best last season. He wouldn't even play that much last season. He was injured a lot. So it's not hard to miss him. I don't think they're going to miss De Bruyne.
Yeah, no, but I don't think they're going to miss De Bruyne. I'm not saying Reinders is De Bruyne. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to miss him. I think they challenge for the title this year. Whether they win it or Liverpool win it, obviously, I don't know the future, but I do think it'll be a tight season. Hopefully, it goes down to the final game of the season again. And for me, Wolves will be fine this season. I think they will be in the bottom half, but I don't think they're going to be worse than some of the other teams.
I think they're going to struggle without Cunha, his creative spark, his goals. But I don't see them getting relegated. I think they might be down there, maybe 15th, 16th, maybe, but I can't see them dropping. City, City looks strong. I think they're going to challenge. They're going to be I've got a feeling that City might fall off later on in the season because of the World Club Cup training, the heat, just like Chelsea maybe as well. There's a lot of games out there. I think they're going to struggle. Maybe not now, but I think maybe around February, March, around that time of the season, you feel it in your legs. But yeah, I think they're going to challenge. They're going to do much better.
I think Marmoush and Cherki as rotation in that attack is fantastic. Yeah, I think they're going to have a lot of fun.
Chelsea got his first goal yesterday. Saturday.
Yes, it was a very nice goal as well, yeah.
Good finish, yeah. Right, that's Saturday done. Move on to the Sunday games. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Bit of a bore draw, that one.
It was. I think there's only one real big talking point there, Darryl, and that's that odd free kick from Eze, which I think everyone thought was a goal. And I reckon if you sat most football fans in the VAR room and told them they have to find a reason to disallow it, they would struggle.
Well, initially we thought it was for the push, as in Gay pushing Salcedo out of the way.
As a foul, yeah.
That's what I thought. And I've seen Liverpool lose. I've seen us in a cup final against Chelsea get given. Wataru Rendo did that, and Virgil scored and they disallowed. I've seen things like that, but I'm that a bit straight. I've never heard that Rule 13 before, whatever they call it.
Yeah, new to me. We'll have to keep an eye on it for the rest of the season, I guess. It's an odd one. It's a shame because it was a good free kick and it was a good goal. And by taking that goal away, I honestly think it ruined the game.
I think it did. I think if they'd let it stand, I think Chelsea might have even come back and come out their show. They'd have to come out their show.
I think we would have seen at least another goal.
Yeah. But all that attacking talent, I think they spent like 200 million this year. Listen, question before we go. What is Liam Delap thinking right now? He got 15 minutes, I think, roughly at the end of the game. What is he thinking now? I came to Chelsea to be the number one striker. We forgot to tell you we're buying João Pedro, who's going to be starting. Yeah. What's he thinking? Yeah.
It's a shame because Liam Delap's come from the Premier League to join Chelsea. And instead of Chelsea then bringing in a foreign league striker, they've just brought a better Premier League striker in and gone, sit on the bench then, mate. Pedro's here now. Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a hard one to stomach, bro. It's a hard one, mate, I tell you.
I think it was a boring game of football, Darryl, but I did just want to highlight Esteval. He looked very, very good. Yeah.
I thought it might take him 6 months to acclimatise, but he went straight into it. He just looked ready.
He did. He looked very he looked very comfortable on the ball and trying to beat his man, which is what he's there for. He looked very good doing so.
I'll be honest. What annoyed me most about that goal being disallowed, that could have been Eze's. Might even be Eze's last goal for Crystal Palace before he leaves. Is going to Tottenham. So that would have been a nice farewell gift for them. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. What's your predictions for those two for this season?
After the Club World Cup, I was under the impression that Chelsea would have come out and just all guns blazing. And I honestly thought this game was going to be slightly whitewashed and 2-3-0. I know Palace have played very, very well, but I really did think Chelsea were just going to come out and really prove a point. After that result, I'm thinking that maybe Chelsea, are they going to miss Colwill? Are they going to miss, I don't know, is João Pedro the answer? So I think top six, but I don't think they'll be in the title conversation towards the last couple of weeks.
He didn't look good at all yesterday, João Pedro. I'll be disappointed in what he contributed to the match, you know. Yeah. And Crystal Palace, if let's just say Eze and Gay leave, you might just say that. Just say if they did.
I think if Eze and Gay leave, I'll be happy with a mid-table finish and they can have fun in the Europa Conference League. Perhaps they can get quite far. I can see them winning it, even without Eze and Gay. I think they are a strong enough team to win that. Perhaps they do, and they sit in mid-table, and I think that would be a perfect season for them.
Yeah, I think Chelsea, I think they finish in the top three. I really do. I think they'll get it. I think Cole Palmer and João Pedro, that partnership will start working. They've got so many players. I think the biggest problem Maresca's got is picking his best players. You've got Gittins out there. You've got Pedro. Neto. You've got so many different. They're trying to get Simon. There's so many different players to pick from. I think his hardest task is working out which his best 11 is, and I think if he gets that right, I think they'll challenge, or they'll be there and thereabouts. Palace.
Definitely.
Palace. I think they'll finish in the top. I think it's about 12, top 10, top 12. I really do. Even without Ezek, I really rate Glasner. I think he's a class act. I think whoever he's got, he squeezes the best out of them, whichever player he gets.
Yeah.
Okay, Nottingham Forest against Brentford. What do you think? What are we saying?
It was the score I thought, if I'm being honest. I was expecting Forest to win that quite comfortably. Brentford have lost a lot this window. Manager, backroom staff, and Mbeumo's obviously gone. They just didn't look on it. Forest played fantastic last season. I think a lot of people were saying that Forest weren't going to make the cut this year. People were going to know what they were going to do. Or they played they played to the game plan of last season, and they scored 3 fantastic goals. Chris Wood is a real bizarre one, I think, for everyone. If you told Chris Wood 5 years ago what would be going on right now, I don't think he would have believed you. So to see him score 2 in the first game is quite funny, because it's just Chris Wood, isn't it? It's just
Chris Wood, the phenomenon.
Yeah. I mean, if he got the golden boot, I honestly don't think anyone would question it.
It wouldn't shock me. He had an amazing season last season. I think earlier on in different pods I've said, I can't see him having that amazing season that he did last year. He started with 2 goals, top scorer right now.
Exactly.
So 2 goals. So
yeah, Haaland neck and neck all season.
I personally thought, I don't think Forest would do as well as they did last season. I think obviously they've lost Elanga. Did you see that ball from Elliot Anderson?
What have Newcastle sold?
What have they done? I know it's PSR, they sold him, PSR problems why they sold him last year, but what a player. I told you before, I think we spoke about this, but I saw him in the under 21s Euros for England. And he played as a 6, been a 10 at a little point as well. Complete midfielder. He's going to be an England international soon. Such a good little player.
Yeah. The ball that he played, the whole goal from that play, Chris Wood run, the ball that was played, Chris Wood's finish. I mean, every time that guy kicks the ball, I think it goes in the back of the net. His conversion rate is crazy. And that's something they definitely worked on. Chris Wood ran. He didn't have to look. Anderson knew he was going to run, played the ball. It was beautiful. And if you look at the result, 3-1, and then you see that Brentford scored a penalty, I think it really reflects that game. It's a 3-0 game with a penalty, a consolation penalty at the end of the game. But you said about Elanga leaving, where they brought in Ndoye, who's come on and scored. Not come on, actually. He started the game, but he's come into the squad and scored on his debut. He's cemented his place in the team probably now. So fair play to the lads. They've done well with that. And I think they're going to really enjoy this season, Darryl. I think they are going to repeat last season.
I think they've done really, really well to keep hold of Morgan Gibbs-White. I thought he was leaving. Did you see the ball to Ndoye? Reverse it with his left foot. Wow. Good.
When you've got Anderson and Gibbs-White to play the balls to Hudson-Odoi, and Wood, I mean, this counter-attacking football, you've got Oloainya, you've got Williams, Sanagre can sit in the middle and help that defence that's so solid that we've seen. They've kept Matt Sells, who was like a cat.
Love Murillo.
Murillo, exactly. Young as well. I mean, as in, have they got many aging players? Not really, have they? Goalkeepers, we don't need to look at that. Obviously, Chris Wood slightly, but this team could start the first game of next season. Absolutely fine.
Easily.
Yeah.
Chris Wood's the eldest player they've got. Chris Woods.
Is he? Right, yeah. But I think he'll be fine next season as well. So I think this team is so good and it's been made so well. It fits Nuno. It really reminds me of old Wolves with Nuno. Adama Traore over the pace and whatnot.
Wasn't it them that has agreed the fee for Omari Hutchinson? Is it not in Forest?
I believe so, yeah.
37 minutes, a lot of money, but gives them pace on the wings, and they like that.
Exactly.
That's what they're
It's
going.
another player. It's another player to help with the counter-attacking football that they're going to sit there and happily play.
Yeah. Predictions.
I mean, not just because of how I feel about Brentford, but honestly, I just can't see what they're doing this season. I can't see how they progress from what we've just seen against Forest. They look so poor. I think they're going to struggle. I really do. I think Brentford and West Ham will fight Sunderland, perhaps maybe Leeds, and it'll be quite a close call. I think Brentford stay up because I think there are worse teams in the newly promoted lot.
Where do you think Forest finish?
Top 6.
Top 6?
Maybe 7th. Maybe it's
very
Forest
bold,
and Spurs, but I think they'll be absolutely fine all season. I think they'll be comfortable. I think 7th. I think they'll take European football again.
Yeah, about 9th or 10th. If I'm honest, I think they're gonna. I know the counter-attacking football works, but I think for the bigger teams, they'll have worked that out. Like for instance, I don't think they'll be getting 4 points off Liverpool. For instance, I don't think they'll get that off Liverpool this year. I just don't. Obviously, you beat them twice, but yeah, I think they might drop down a little bit. Remember, they've got Europa League on a Thursday, Sundays is tough. I don't know if their squad's that big. They've got good players, no doubt, and I'm not putting them down. I think I'm really impressed by yesterday as well. But I think they're going to struggle with the Europa League on a Thursday, Sundays a little bit. So I think they might finish about 9th or 10th, which is still a good season for them, you know.
Yeah.
Brentford, I've said it before. They've lost Mbeumo. They've lost their captain Norgard. They've lost a manager. They've lost all his backroom staff. My biggest problem with Brentford, why I think they are going to go down, is they've got Keith Andrews. Now, this isn't just his first managerial role in the Premier League. This is his first managerial role ever. He was a set-piece coach and he's been promoted. That's a lot to take on. That's a big job. To follow in the footsteps of someone like Thomas Frank as well, I think they're really going to struggle. And as much as I do like Brentford, they're a London club, but I think they're going to go down. I really do. Shame, but I think they're going to go down.
Fingers crossed.
That's just okay, that brings us on to the last game from Sunday. Manchester United, Arsenal. Obviously, Manchester United lost 1-0. What do you think? What did you think of the game?
I think that you can have all the stats you want. They had 22 shots to 9. They had 7 on target to 3. They had 62% possession. They had 470 passes complete to Arsenal's 290.
Oh, wow.
But they lost 1-0 because they couldn't score. And it's the tale as old as time with this club. I don't know, Darryl. It's bizarre. I watched the game and it's bloody boring. I can't lie. To wrap up the weekend where I watched Chelsea and Palace, where I watched Fulham and Brighton, where I watched Newcastle and Villa, I sat down thinking this was going to be a fun game of football. And it was a scrappy set piece and then a lot of nothing.
Yeah, I agree. There were goals, obviously, the Liverpool game, the Nottingham Forest. There were goals, but it wasn't an exciting weekend of Premier League football. You know, it was a bit disappointing.
No,
I don't know if Manchester United played that well or Arsenal played that poorly. Because to me, I watched the game. After that, Arsenal scored the goal. It's like they didn't try and score a second goal. I didn't see any patterns of play. I didn't see them trying to go and win it and get the second goal. I just found it a little bit. I thought Mbeumo should have scored. I thought United should have at least got out there with a draw, personally. And Mbeumo had a couple of chances.
Yeah.
I thought there was
Mbeumo had a... Yeah.
I thought it was a pen. I thought he came through the back of him, but me personally...
See, I mentioned the Brighton Fulham pen that wasn't given for Fulham. It's the same. It's always been a pen. And
You're
this
coming from
season, maybe
behind.
it's not.
You're coming from behind.
Yeah.
You've
Don't
taken
get
them
the
out from
ball,
behind.
you get the man.
It's a pen.
It is a pen, but apparently it's not this weekend.
But this is the problem with the Premier League. What's the pen? I think we didn't even discuss. We'll finish this one. We'll go back to the Liverpool one in a minute with the handball. Just go through that in a minute. It's just what is what nowadays? I'm just, as a football fan, I've been watching football for donkeys of years. I don't know what's a handball. I don't know what's a penalty. I'm baffled
bizarre,
by
isn't it?
because there's no consistency at all.
That is a penalty all season, last season, the season before. You saw it given almost every other weekend. The player going for the ball and clipping the back of the leg, or hitting the leg that's swinging for the ball.
That's swinging for the ball.
Pen. It's always a pen. It's a pen. It's a pen. It's a pen. And then this weekend, that's not a pen.
Not a pen.
What about?
It's not a pen.
Would it be a free kick if it was outside the box? Yeah,
definitely.
There's a pen.
If that was on a halfway line, that's a foul, and possibly a yellow card from coming through the back of them.
But if it's in the box, carry on, get up
and move on. Let's go.
It's bizarre. I think it was really interesting, the lineups. I don't know what you thought. Mason Mount started football. I don't know if you know. Mason Mount plays for Manchester United.
Oh, does he?
that Chelsea player. Yeah, he plays for Manchester United, and he just started.
He started as a 9.
Yeah,
false 9.
It was an odd one, wasn't it? You had Matthias Cunha and Mbeumo. You had Mason Mount, the new signing. Casemiro and Fernandes played in this new holding sort of midfield role, and Onana wasn't in goal because they're getting rid of him. Yeah,
it's I don't know. It's still very strange. Listen, they look better, Manchester United. They looked better. Cunha looked really good. He looks like he's an exciting player, as we know he is. And Mbeumo, as much as he played well, I was disappointed with him. I thought he could have done a lot better in the match. Dalot came on, did well. They still lack cutting edge. Sesko came on, had a few nice, neat touches. But I think Man United should have got out there with a draw personally, because I didn't think Arsenal tried to win the game. That's me personally. I don't think they tried to win the game, and I think they was a bit disappointed. They got the win, But what did you think about Gyökeres? What we saw of him?
Yeah, he didn't look very good, did he? I can't lie. He didn't impress me. He's been brought in to score goals. That's the game they need him to score a goal. If United scored, the points would have been lost because the striker didn't finish for Arsenal. So I think he got away with it. I think he was fortunate. I think the Arsenal lineup probably confused Arsenal fans. Got a couple of Arsenal fans in the family that told me that Calafiori wasn't supposed to be left back. They all wanted Lewis Skelly, and then he's the one that goes and score the goal. So I think it's a bit weird. Jurrien Timber on the bench, not starting. I think he's their best right back. Ben White played right back instead. Very odd. And yeah, United played better. You repeat that game 9 times over, and that's the only time they lose it, I think. That was all United. It was theirs to lose.
Yeah.
And they went out and lost. They just didn't finish what they were doing. It's a shame because they had these new players that we know are Prem quality, and they couldn't do the job, which then says a lot about what else. Is it the build-up? Is it the other players behind them? Or is it the formation and the tactic doesn't fit?
Yeah, I think it's a formation tactic which doesn't fit, to be honest. But it gives the fans a lot of optimism moving forward. I think they can. There's a bit of a structure there. You can see what he's trying to do now. It looks better than a lot of last season. So we'll see how it goes. The next game, I can't think the next game is right now. Fulham at the Cottage.
Yes.
Well, you got quite a good record. You beat them last year in the FA Cup.
Yeah, we managed to lose both times we played them in the league because we love dropping points. But I think this would be,
as you do,
this sort of game. Yeah, but this sort of game that we saw them play against Arsenal would be a kind of game where they pump us. The relentless attacking would have, they definitely would have scored. a couple of goals, I think. So hopefully they don't look as good going away from home.
Okay, predictions for Arsenal and Manchester United this season, based on what you saw yesterday.
I think from what I saw yesterday, Arsenal mid-table, but I think realistically they'll be all right. I don't know. 3 shots on target. They're meant to be the better team, aren't they? They're meant to be pushing for the league title. I think that they scored their goal and they got happy and they got comfortable and that was it. It's a win away. That's all they wanted, isn't it? They did that 3 points, so they stuck with it.
But they did that a lot last season. They went 1-0 up and tried to defend it. And I think they got like 10 draws or 8 draws. It's quite a lot of draws that they got last season because they went 1-0 up. He tried to do that same thing. Not being funny, like I said, the least United should have got out of that game is a draw. And that would have just been the same as last season. They've gone 1-0 up. They're thinking, we've got the best defence in the Premier League. We can hold on to it. And then they can't. We saw them drop so many points last season from that same mentality of with 1-0 up, we can defend it. And they don't end up defending it. And they don't.
Yeah.
Which happened a lot last season.
And it was lucky this game.
And they were lucky yesterday to defend it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was, they got 3 points. So at the end of the day, no one's going to complain as an Arsenal fan. You won the game. It's good. I think they'll be up in the top 4. I think it's Liverpool, City, Arsenal, and then I don't know. Perhaps it is Chelsea. Perhaps it's Tottenham. Could be Forest. I think wait and see. But I think Arsenal top 4. They'll put the pressure on at some point, I'm sure.
United?
Could be them in 4th. I think United finish in the top 7. I don't know how many people I've said now are going to finish in the top 7. More than 6 or 7, I think now. I think they do all right. I think they'll be all right. They're not in European football. It makes life so much easier when scoring like that.
That's a big plus.
Massive. If they don't finish in the top 5, let's say, I think they get to a final of Carabao or FA Cup. And if they don't, they've had an awful season because they're not in European football. They've got a massive squad. They've got a lot of talent. They've spent good money. They've got no excuses not to perform this season.
Yeah, I think United finish in the top 7.
Yeah.
Top 7, probably around 7th, 6th, 7th. And I went for Arsenal for 4th. I think after a couple of years of coming second all the time, I think it comes to a point where the players start losing a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
Liverpool had that with City. There was a couple of times when you lost it. You lost it at 1 point. You lost it by 1 point till your heads drop. You get to a point where you feel exhausted you feel like you can't get over the line. Mentally, it starts getting to you a little bit, And I think that might play in against Arsenal this year. I think 3 times coming second. Not really challenging last year. One of the years they had it, they were clear by a certain amount of point, then they got clawed back. So they've lost it in different ways, So I think that mental fatigue might get to them this year, I reckon,
Yeah, I think last season there was quite a gap in the end. Was it 15 points?
I think we won it by 10 in the end, but clear. But obviously,
was it 10?
The last 2 games,
Yeah. I just think that a club like City are able to get them points. So I think that although Arsenal might be 10 points off first, they could finish 3rd or 4th. I'm being really optimistic, Daryl. I want a fun season. I want relegations and the title to be won in the last week. The last day of the season to be one of those ones where you've got teams getting relegated and a team winning the league that weren't necessarily in that position the weekend before.
Well, as a biased Liverpool fan, I'm going to say I want us to run away with it like I did last year, obviously.
Well, of course.
Obviously. But listen.
Fulham to run away with it.
Before we go, I have to revisit this quickly. This VAR decision against Liverpool, first game of the season, first major decision of VAR to make. And in my eyes,
everyone's watching it.
Totally wrong. They're totally wrong.
Yeah. Maybe the cameras weren't turned on, Daryl, because it was all weekend. There was weird things going on.
But that's the first game of the... Listen, we've all been waiting for the Premier League season to start. What do we get? It doesn't bother me that much because we won the game.
Yeah.
Even if we draw that game 2-0 and they came back, we'll still be shouting, and I wouldn't blame us to say, but he should have been sent off in the 15th minute.
He shouldn't be. he shouldn't be on the pitch. If that was in the box, it's a pen. If that was just outside the box, it's a red card. It's denying a goal scoring opportunity. He's using his hands. He's clearly used his hands. Apparently, it touched him and then it touched his hand. He was swatting it away like there was a wasp at him. It was ridiculous. There's no denying what he did. It was a straight like palm down. He didn't accidentally wave his hand in the air. It's so clear and obvious. I can't believe it's not being looked at.
But they reviewed it really quickly and they cleared it very quickly. They said it was a double. It was a double touch, but he had no control over the ball. That's why he used his hand.
Exactly. The replay I saw on Sky showed a kind of a front on view, and it wasn't very clear. And then at the end of the game, they showed a different angle, more side on, where you could see the ball change direction once he hit it. Mm-hmm. Surely VAR have seen that angle.
You would think so.
Well, if they have, they've missed something. And if they haven't seen the angle, there's something seriously wrong on what's happening. How can we still be struggling with VAR?
I was just really, like I said, we won the game and it was fair enough. But I was just really disappointed that on the first major decision of the season, in front of all the cameras, first game, first 15 minutes, they got it wrong. That's very disappointing. That's worrying, if I'm honest with you.
I also wonder, though, Daryl, did they not want to send him off?
To spoil the game, to ruin the game. That's what I thought. Did they want to send him? Oh, we send him off the 15 minutes, it ruins the game. Liverpool win the game, we ruin it. I don't really care about ruining game. It could have been. Though. I'm not being biased to my team. I didn't care if it was Tottenham and Burnley. If it was a Tottenham player with Romero that handballed it, send him off. I want to see it being fair. I don't care about what ruins the game or not for whoever. I think the team that's playing the game should get their fair dues. And if that was Tottenham, Burnley, Fulham, who did you play? I can't remember who you played.
Brighton.
Fulham, Brighton, whoever it is, that team deserves a red card. The other team should get the benefits of that. And that's why I see it, regardless of what team it is. It should be fair. That's how it should be. I don't care about if it ruins the game or not. I understand it's an entertainment business, but I think that's unfair. That's a wrong call.
No, it's not just your game. It was in the Arsenal United game. It was in the Fulham Brighton game. There were weird decisions where I think, as we've said, pens are pens, but that didn't seem to be. Handballs are handballs, but that didn't seem to be. In fact, red cards are red cards, and that's exactly the example in the Liverpool game. That's a red card. If that was in any other position, it's a red card. It is. Yeah. He denied a goal scoring opportunity. Ekitike would have been one-on-one with the goalkeeper. It doesn't matter whereabouts on the pitch it is. He was the last man, and he's used his hand. We've seen it all throughout football history. Luis Suarez did it, didn't he? Went and caught the ball for Uruguay. Yeah. It's a red card. You can't use your hands. But apparently you can if it's in the first 15 minutes in the opening day of the season.
You get away with it.
Yeah.
You get away with it. Okay, so that brings us to the end. Let's hope next week we've got Manchester United. We've got Fulham away at Fulham. Liverpool, Fulham.
How?
I don't know. Sorry. We've got Newcastle away next week. I'm not sure. You've got Manchester United.
Yeah. This week then, Daryl, just a quick question for you. And I think we should give this a little ending every week.
Okay.
Goal of the week.
My goal of the week.
Your personal goal of the week.
My personal goal of the week would have to be Federico Chiesa winner. I thought we dropped the ball, we'd lost the game or dropped points in the game, and he come up. Who else but Federico Chiesa hits the 3-2. I know it was the winning goal, but to me it was the winning goal. So that's that's my goal of the week for personal goal of the week. What about yourself?
It's got to be the Fulham goal. 97th minute winner, Rodrigo Muniz. We think he might be leaving. He gets subbed on. He scores. It's our first sub goal. It's our first sub goal of the season. We had 20 last season, I think it was.
And he scored quite a few of them, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's number one already ticked off. 97th minute. It's the last kick of the game. We don't score from corners. He goes and smacks it in. He lifts the scarf above his head. If that man stays, then the season's fine. We'll be all right.
I think he's going to stay.
I do think we're both being a little bit biased on that because
Richard Carlos is a head king. That was my moment. That was my moment.
But Richarlison's overhead kick has got to be given some credit, because that, from a man that I don't think anyone is expecting that from, that's a very, very nice technique. It is against perhaps the worst team we might see in the league. However, the technique from the cross and then the goal itself, fantastic.
Got to give him credit for the techers. Yeah,
Muniz and Chiesa are not getting highlight reels from them goals, but we know why they meant so much.
Of course.
That's goal of the month, I think, already written down.
But the problem is, you see, when you score amazing goals so early, by the time you get to the end of the season, that will get forgotten. People forget about that great goal that Richarlison scored, Yeah. But yeah, wicked. Thanks a lot, Lee, for joining. It's been real good. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. Keep a lookout for us next week. We'll do another game week 2. Do a roundup. And nice. Like and subscribe, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers, Lee. I'll speak to you soon.
Yep. See you later. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.